What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Civilization 5 57 Civs AI only battle, or world battle. There's not really 57 Civs left anymore. It's maybe not the most important part of the name, but it is a pretty balanced world battle. Hopefully you're enjoying it. It seems fairly equal. No one's running away with it too much. There seems to be at least two contenders for the outright, victory. And again, there's going to be a vote. There's no info addicts for this one, so if you guys want to let somebody else win, that's on you. I don't know. But there you go. There will be some sort of system to pick a winner. And the city has fallen. Siam already quickly recovering Vijaya here off of Japan. Didn't take too long. It's gone back and forth a few times now. See, I feel like Japan could take it and keep it, but they might need a bit of luck, just a peace deal at the right time. They've got enough cannons here to put it down low again, and the riflemen could sneak in. So there's a chance. Small chance for them to get that back. I don't know, are they still going after California? They are, and it's mixed. It's not going super well. I think the Chinook is just being a nuisance. I don't think they're in this war too, unless I've missed something. I think they're just getting in the way. So don't be too concerned there. And the Shoshone, there was the big peace deal we were all waiting for with Carthage. No, that Iroquois settler somehow did squeeze through. I'm sure it won't last. I'm sure the Shoshone, if they haven't been yet, will take this. Surely. I don't think they'll just let it settle. That would not be ideal. But you never know. We've seen crazier things from the AI. Brazil still growing. They now have great war infantry, so they're keeping up some of the big boys. And yeah, they've got the biggest population. Rio and Sao Paulo are bigger than before. Fortaleza is growing pretty quickly. Brasilia seems to have stopped at about 6. But yeah, Brazil's still growing. That world's biggest population. They're holding that title for now. Korea up to 70% literacy and back in the lead for soldiers. Mongolia knocked them off the top spot for a while, but Korea is back in number 1. Obviously a lot of upgraded boats will probably help them. Submarines, battleships now starting to emerge for Korea at turn 145. What a game they've had. Hopefully they're not this good in my Two Sicilies Let's Play, although luckily they're quite far away, so I shouldn't have to worry as much about them being there. Should be okay. Belgium, of course, last turn went freedom, the first civ to go that way. We'll see if they can maintain it. I'm not sure, but we'll see. Where are they at? No dissidents just yet, anyway. And they were one of the big tourism civs, 18. They're actually the second biggest. South Africa will be a big one, though. 37. Whichever ideology that joins will get a huge boost to maintaining its civs. I wonder if they started all going freedom, I wonder if the rest of the civs could flip all these other ones. Probably. The autocracy and order civs are both struggling at the moment. There's no real winner. I don't know. Are they just going to flip sides to each other? Don't really know how that's going to work out. Texas pieces out with the Chinook. Wasn't much going on. They were fighting a little bit here, but nothing crazy. And Japan still going after California here with some success. Not much, but they're trying. It is in the yellow, but I don't think they've got enough left. I don't know, maybe. I felt 63 is quite high, city defense. I don't know, maybe it'll be difficult. It's not necessarily super high. I'm sure there's some cities much higher, but I don't know if these 5 boats will be enough. We'll see. I think the ironclads might just not have enough left in them. Persia, another civ. Sorry, not Persia. Parthia, just struggling through. They enter the industrial era. Maybe they can make it a little bit further, but I'm not sure. And finally, some civs declare war on Persia. Not sure how long they'll survive here. They'll be fine with these civs, the Iroquois, Germany, France. They're not coming over here. But Harappa has a bit of a tech advantage now with riflemen versus musketmen. They have some boats that could help. Yeah, Harappa could certainly outlast them if those two were to go into sort of a long war. The Huns could always just cause some damage. Byzantium as well, although they don't seem too bothered. They're more Mediterranean focused for now. And Siam did recapture this city, which means Japan must have recaptured it again without me noticing, so I apologise. I missed that one. Songhai v Mali, that's pretty big. We'll see how this goes. Now it seems fairly even. Mali still has a lot of units. It's not going to be easy. They actually do have Gatling guns. But yeah, Songhai should have an advantage in this city. It's sort of separated. They should be able to waltz in here and grab this. And then yeah, I think they should have enough to outlast Mali. War of attrition it again. Just, slowly drain out their units when you can produce more. And then move in and eliminate them. And this will be a big victory for the Songhai certainly lift them up a few places maybe. If there was like a scoreboard for Africa alone, I have no idea who's doing the best, but they all look like good strength, so I really don't know. Samoa actually did turn up in the end, and they haven't lost Madagascar yet, so that's quite impressive. At war with Burundi and the Congo. Persia did actually just peace out with the Huns, so never mind. I didn't even know they were at war, but that is now over. Korea not slowing down. They are going to try and get this city. It'll be very difficult, but full credit to you for trying. And I think Mongolia is going to grab this one as well, so we should see Parthia eliminated pretty soon. Even though they just entered the industrial era, I don't think that will save them. That's pretty late at this point in this game. I mean, some civs are in the modern era. I think a couple of them, the top end ones are. Korea must be. I don't know if I saw it pop up, but Korea must be in the modern era, I would imagine. Their units. Denmark still looks really good. Bit of a dark horse in Europe. Obviously, they'll have to do more to get in like a top 10, but I wouldn't count them out. And even Germany's looking fairly strong. So all the Europeans, to be fair, have a lot of units. Austria has a lot. The Goths are just stacked full of units. Attila's got quite a lot. You know, he's not as full as the other ones. He has probably the same amount as the other civs. Even Russia's just been left alone, so they've just built up a good enough army to protect themselves. So yeah, these Europeans, it's going to be difficult. France as well, tons of units. It's going to be very difficult to see many cities changing hands in Europe. I'm very surprised. Even Britain and the Celts have hardly gone to war. And Belgium, I think that's the second civ to have planes. Sorry if I've missed some other random civ with planes, but it does look like they are. I do see a plane here. There you go. A couple of planes for Belgium makes them number 2. Korea's obviously had theirs for a couple of turns now. So maybe not as big a lead for Korea as you'd expect, but I don't know. I think they probably do. They have battleships as well, carriers, submarines. So yeah, Korea's probably got about one level of technologies, tech advantage from the nearest contenders. Maybe not. Maybe the Iroquois are up there too. I don't know. There's no point guessing something we don't know. Well, there is, I guess, but you know, there's no point. It's not going to make a difference. However many techs we assume Korea, it's how they use them. And at the moment, I mean, going after Parthia is cool and all. It's not gonna fire you up the scoreboard here. The Iroquois at 951. It's nearly turn 150, so we'll just have a quick look now. The Iroquois 951. So it'll be the top 10 that actually make it to the vote. 676 for Mongolia. 874 for Korea, sort of second. 800 for Attila. He's also up there. 700 almost for Brazil, so they'll be up there. The rest of it seems pretty close. I mean, 660 for South Africa, 700 for Belgium. I'd say Samoa 600. There's like 7 there that are 600 plus. They're sort of looking to be nailed on top 10 civs. But beyond that, there is not much separating them. There was loads between 4 and 500. So, you know, one successful war like the Songhai going after Mali, if that goes their way, then very quickly they could climb up that list and other things as well. I mean, South Africa were one of those top nailed on top 7. I mean, they're not massive, so a couple of big wars could change everything still. Maybe not at the very top, but particularly around 5th and below, probably. I feel like Belgium, the Iroquois, Korea, Mongolia, they are the 4 front runners, and maybe Brazil are 5th as well. Maybe those are the top 5, I would say, at the moment. In terms of who's got the biggest opportunities out of those 2, I mean, the Iroquois do have opportunity, but they're sort of floundering it still. It's going to be difficult. I mean, it's the fact they haven't given up and tried something else is a bit more concerning than the fact they're still struggling. It is very difficult to get through those lakes. But the fact they haven't tried to go after Texas or just gone after these cities in the Caribbean or something is a bit concerning. Belgium, I'm going to be honest, it'll be very difficult. Like, France has so much. They're going to need a lot of help or a big tech advantage. But we'll see. I mean, I think Belgium are pretty safe too. The same logic going in there. I just think Europe, as I mentioned about a few minutes ago, going to be very difficult for anyone to make some progress in there. Brazil have opportunities as they continue to stay ahead. Obviously, this city is going to be the hardest one to take, but eventually, I mean, it probably will fall. You have the production advantage and stuff. Another Brazilian city here, Belo Horizonte. They're still trying to spread out their population internally, which is not a bad move at all. Also can be another place to put planes late game, more military strategy going in there maybe. Oh, Brazil did get the El Dorado. They did miss out though on the Cerro de Potosi wonder. So that's how those were divided up But yeah, Brazil still have opportunities. I wouldn't be surprised. Another city, and okay, that might be a bit much. You can start eating the food of the other cities. I don't know. We'll see how that goes for them. But Manaus has been settled. But Brazil could even go to Africa at this point and have a go. Not a huge amount of boats out here. Benin with a few, but the other guys don't have much navy. I didn't include any of the Africans in my top 5. I think it's always going to be a team war. Like, there's no way, like, South Africa v Congo, like, 1-on-1, there would be an obvious winner. I mean, it looks like the Congo might be better off here, but there's other things going into it. South Africa's units might be really good, I don't know. But it's probably going to be a team war, because they're all, like I said, fairly medium-sized civs. They're all really close. They're just not quite there. They're, like, one step away, which they might need to just team up to make that step. Korea, I guess there's plenty of opportunity for them. Japan does look tough, though. But, yeah, I mean, if they can... Yeah, I feel like they could give it a go still. There's opportunities for Korea. They can also go through Siam. As well, Mongolia a bit less, because Korea's kind of getting in the way, which is a little concern for Mongolia. And they can't really get through here. I think Russia and the Huns are safe. Attila, I didn't include him in that list, which may have been a bit harsh. He's got opportunity. He can certainly do some stuff. But yeah, I feel like Mongolia might start to stagnate the most. I think there's opportunity. I mean, the others aren't... Brazil hasn't done anything for ages, but, you know, Mongolia might be stuck like this if Korea, you know, doesn't make a move. Or obviously Korea could kill them. That is obviously a concern too. Potentially those two. Seems Korea has a tech advantage. Military-wise, they seem pretty even. Bear in mind, Korea has a lot of boats that will be no use against Mongolia, so that probably tips it to about equal. Maybe a little bit in Mongolia's favour for numbers, and then Korea has a bit of a tech thing. So it would probably be quite an even head-to-head war, which is probably why it's not going to happen. Also, you have to consider these two Korean cities are probably not the best placed. Mongolia would probably wrap those up and grab those pretty easily should the war begin. Don't want to jinx it or anything, as he is failing over here, but still, that would be, you know, my sort of thoughts on it as to who might win this game from a score point of view. Not from, again, you guys will get to vote at the end to pick a winner. So entertainment will obviously be a huge factor as well, and that sort of eliminates probably the potential for a civ like Brazil, who hasn't really done much. They just settled where they needed to. I mean, they've managed their population incredibly well, but I don't think that's the most exciting part of the game for you guys watching. The Iroquois, again, I don't think they're gonna get... They're just sort of... They're kind of the villain, aren't they, at this point? They've sort of... The Zulu and Mongolia used to be the villain. I think it's now the Iroquois. They're sort of just the ones that win too much. So yeah, they will probably not get... They'll be at a disadvantage in a vote. I don't know how Attila would fare or Mongolia. But we'll see. It's going to be exciting. Obviously, that's 52 turns away, I'm guessing. I'm assuming the other civs are going to have a tech boom sort of as well. Korea will probably be at the end by then, the speed we're going at. And then I'll keep pushing it obviously on beyond that just to show you what happens, of course. But yeah, we'll probably just do the results at turn 200 because at that point the episodes will probably just be not much going on. It's alright, like, if it's really slow and there's stuff going on, but when there's nothing, that's not so great. Mayans versus Parthia, not the biggest war. About as far apart as possible, those two. Ethiopia, Byzantium, they do border each other, so I'm curious as to how this will go, or why they would do this. And Spain to help, but Spain can't get over there, so I don't know what that was about. Brazil versus Parthia, not super important. I thought the Harappans would go after Persia, but Indonesia versus Harappa doesn't matter. Indonesia can't get over here. Shoshone, Harappa does definitely not matter. Benin versus Parthia also doesn't matter. Japan reconquers this city here. And Su versus Parthia, again, doesn't really matter. Parthia, I mean, they're probably going to be eliminated anyway, but Korea and Mongolia will be the ones to do that, if anybody. Maybe Attila if he comes back for another bite, but I think it's been a while. It's not been that long since he peaced out. Corral, nope, doesn't matter. South Africa, poor Parthia and Harappa. Don't know what they did to deserve this, but yeah, none of these wars matter. If there is one that is close, then I will let you know. Burundi, or obviously you'll see it as well, but I will highlight it. Burundi v Parthia, yeah, again, just complete randomness. We're going to miss one big one. 2 Sicilies versus Harappa, no. Harappa would be worth taking out. I mean, this 22 pop is one of the biggest cities in the world. India would certainly benefit from having this. So they've not really done much this game. They have struggled. Australia v Harappa, no. Australia v Parthia, no. God dang it, Australia. I completely forgot about them, to be honest. Samoa's not killed them yet, but I'm sure it will happen soon. Chinook versus Harappa. Chinook piecing out with the Shoshone. I completely forgot that was going on. It was a waste of time. So the Shoshone can now focus again on defending against the Iroquois fully. I mean, so far so good, right? They've still not breached through here. France versus Parthia. Germany versus Parthia. They're all piling on in right now. It's like that Simpsons meme. Stop, he's already dead. Just stop. They're already finished. Iroquois versus Parthia. It couldn't get worse than this. These were the same three in that order that attacked Persia earlier as well in this episode. Doing it again. The only real interesting thing I've learned from all these wars being declared that don't matter is that France and Germany might be a team. That could be important. If those two work together, that would drastically change things. I always said Germany could not really get involved against France when Belgium, Spain and Britain were trying to take them out and failed. But yeah, I was like, Germany couldn't even get in against France. But if Germany joined against Belgium, I think things could get a little weird. I think if France leaves like Brussels to Germany and then they focus on the rest of it, then that could work really well. Even with Belgium's tech lead. The Inca versus Parthia, the massive war we were all waiting for. The Incans starting to fall behind on technology. They're getting close, especially with some of these other bottom tier civs being eliminated, like the one city civs and stuff getting eliminated. It becomes a point where a civ like the Inca is the new worst civ in the world. It's coming. They're not quite there yet. They have enough units and they've got a good geographic position for me to say, no, they're medium, just about. But they're about to tip. There is a point when all the terrible civs get eliminated and then someone like the Inca will become a rubbish civ. Carthage in a similar boat. They're a bit worse off actually at the moment. Although Gatling guns, pretty impressive. Morocco would be there, I guess, once they start to lose some of these units. It's the problem, it can be deceiving. Like an AI that hasn't gone to war builds up a lot of units, but the second they die, they can't replace them very quickly. That's when it becomes an issue. Celts v Harappa, doesn't matter. The Huns pieced out with Harappa. That's actually the closest of anyone to do anything with them. The Huns seem to be piecing out with people whenever the whole world jumps on it. Like they're the early adopter. They're like, yep, we're going to be the first to attack these guys. And the second everyone else is involved and it becomes cool to attack someone, the Huns are like, nah, we're not doing this anymore. They're probably running to the World's Congress like, embargo all these countries. Look at what they're doing. That, I could see Attila doing that. Being a bit shady. I feel like he must have a huge population. Like, Brazil must be under threat for first place, surely. Because Attila's population is massive. Obviously the cities aren't as big, but there's more, right? 21, 21, 21, 15, 19, 15. Like, that adds up to way more than Brazil's does. Overall, 9, 7, 2, 8. Eventually, he must overtake them, surely. I know, obviously, like, 33, the gap 32 to 33 is much bigger, but still. You'd think eventually, although obviously Brazil now is growing it even more with all these new cities growing very quickly. Manaus, Belo Horizonte, both growing pretty quickly. Songhai, no success so far in the siege against Mali. Japan versus... Oh, that is a nice citadel placement there. Really annoying. I think that was already done, but still. Japan versus Parthia, doesn't matter. Siam will not get this back this turn because there is no melee units left. There you go, that is brutal. And Japan, who now has great war infantry, will hold on to it this time. Well, and Japan go last, so Siam will... Or not last, but near the end. So Siam will have to wait till their turn, which is in the next turn. Indonesia coming along. To be fair, this has been... One day we'll see them do really well. It was really sad in the last game, the disappearing civs, where I would delete 2 civs at random every 50 turns game. They were doing very well in the alternate one. Not that just like as in very well as in they were here and being Indonesia, which is sometimes what some of the civs have to do, like Australia's a normal one, where they're kind of there to be a placeholder. I've never seen them do really well, but obviously if I leave it empty, someone will settle and win even more. But yeah, like this Indonesia, they're being Indonesia. But, you know, the normal AI, without some help, couldn't even do that. They would just be sat on one island, struggling. So this is okay, but in that other game, there was a chance in the alternate game. They looked like they might actually start settling things, conquering things. Like, they were ready to go and compete for a victory. And yeah, it just didn't quite last. Well, they got deleted, actually. Which is really sad. Especially when that alternate game then became the main game, due to some errors by me. In accidentally overwriting the saves of the wrong one. There's no like, do you wish to overwrite this? That whoever thought of that, they messed up big time. There's just literally a save game. You just click on it, save. Oh, okay. I just lost everything. 20 episodes down the pan. Yeah, I don't know who thought of that, but that was not wise. But oh well, it doesn't matter. I can only blame myself, I guess. I've done something similar before. I think it wasn't nowhere near as bad in the past. I had an AI battle open. I'd done like one of my big processing sessions when the game's in the future. I'd done like 50 turns or whatever, and I went to press save and I accidentally did the load game option and loaded another game straight away and didn't save like 50 turns. That was frustrating. I think I nearly not deleted the channel. I was like, I quit, I give up in like a little strop for half an hour, but then I obviously came back. Made like 1,000 videos probably since then, and welcomed lots more of you to the channel. So welcome. If you're new around here, we just hit 1,500 subscribers. Woo! Finally, after hitting 1,000 so long ago. The first 500 or the first of everything is always supposed to be the hardest, but it turns out the third 500 is actually even harder. Who would have thought that? I wouldn't have thought that when I was scraping through with like 30 subscribers to get to 500, but there we go. Got a new ideology. The Huns also peaced out with Benin. With Benin. And then Benin went order, so that's another one. The Goths versus the Europa, the two Civs. They are very similar like colour, black with white outline. On the mini-map they look identical. They're not so bad. Like, at least Belgium look awesome, the black and gold. Very simple look to it, very nice. To be honest, I like most of the Civs. There's none that are like physically like hard to look at. There's none that are that bad, I don't think. They all look pretty cool. Japan captures another city. I don't think there's any colours that are particularly really hard to... There's one that's really hard to read. I don't know who it is. It's a mod I used to use, but I stopped using it. Probably because I couldn't read it enough. There was one really bad one, but I don't even know what that was, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, there's no real, like, really bad colour scheme. I have a preference. I like the Netherlands colour scheme, just the bright orange. I don't know why. I just think that's the best one. But there's plenty of cool ones. I mean, California has gone autocracy. So there we go. Some more social policies being chosen. Order still with 5 civs, with Benin's help, an extra 6 tourism. California going autocracy, giving them another 4 tourism. South Africa sitting there with that 40. That is going to be a big decision when they come. Belgium is freedom is the only one that's like only no dissidents. Like the other ideologies both have some sort of dissidents, but Belgium's just chilling like, yeah, we're free, we don't care. There'll be some civs to join them. Burundi's one that commonly goes for freedom. India might do it as well. They're the typical ones. I think Brazil have already gone. Brazil were one of the early order civs, so I don't think they'll be going that way, or autocracy, I can't remember, but Brazil were one of the early ones, so it won't be them, but they sometimes can go freedom. On domination only, it is a lot less likely. But it must have been in like Belgium for whatever reason, something maybe specific to Belgium. It was better to get the early extra tenet of picking freedom. Like you get an extra tenet for being one of the first 2. That must have been linked. Like they must have thought, you know what, we're not going to win or something. Maybe that's literally how it's programmed, and they just picked it instead. I don't know, but it's very unlikely that anyone else would even consider picking freedom. Sometimes one small civ who's on their own somewhere that wants that extra social policy bonus so badly, that might be it. Like somebody, a Harappa or Persia, someone like that might just in their head value that free social policy so much that they would pick it, but it's very unlikely even that they would. It does depend if Belgium is able to even maintain, like, to stay as freedom, and obviously it's even harder for the other countries to stay as freedom. Belgium could probably just about scrape through. I think it's harder to have a revolution from freedom. I assume you can get dissidents, but I think it's like a lot harder. I think because obviously, you know, not many people would trade in freedom for order or autocracy, I guess. Goths peace out with Denmark. Brazil completes the Eiffel Tower. Nice wonder for them. Quite a cultural sort of wonder, so that's pretty good. Mayans, about 75% of their capital's health gone here, and about 90% still left, or 75% left, sorry, 90% left in their other city. Benin versus the Harappa. Nope, doesn't matter. Benin does peace out with South Africa, but again, that does not matter too much. Hopefully we'll get something meaningful in Africa fairly soon between some of the civs. They've all been pretty friendly. Congo are fighting Egypt, which Egypt, to be fair, they've actually gone. I don't know how this will pan out. I'm sure Congo can defend themselves just fine against mostly pikemen coming after them. That shouldn't be too difficult. How is Japan doing down here? Are you still going for this, Japan? Still going after Sacramento. There's a chance California's capital could fall to Japan, and they are still a contender for the top 10, certainly. They have done very well, which is surprising. I mean, this city's grown very well, but just, yeah, they're doing very well off of these 3 islands. Like, Indonesia sort of eat your heart out. I mean, Great Britain are doing good too, but nowhere near as good as Japan. They did just settle this here as well. Manchester, southern part of Ireland. 2 Sicilies. What are you up to? Not too much. They're just defending Graz here. Certainly not doing as well. Are they doing as well? I mean, it's pretty similar to almost exactly the same as what I have in my Let's Play right now. I'm a few turns behind, and also obviously my game is a lot not slower. Well, it is slower because I'm playing, so I'm not just clicking next turn straight away, but as in I'm on a lower difficulty, so the Civs are not quite as far down the game and take longer to build things and stuff. But I'm about to settle down here, so I think I win on that one. Just saying, I win. But the map has played out very differently in that one, and it's surprising. It's only gone down 2 difficulty levels. I know it's quite a big step, deity to emperor, but yeah, I'm very surprised by how far it's changed. But that will be it for this episode. So as always, if you have enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and a comment down below. Be sure to subscribe as well if you're new to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.